Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Between Sessions with Berries. Today's guest is Uriah Guilford. He's also a friend of mine. He's one of my AI geek out friends, so I'm glad to have him here. He's a licensed therapist, group practice owner, author of The Productive Practice, and the head nerd over at Productive Therapists, a virtual assistant company that helps therapists streamline and scale. Uriah has built a reputation for helping therapists stay productive without burning out. He's a tech enthusiast, a minimalist travel packer, which I love, rock drummer, and he's here to talk about how AI is transforming one of the biggest bottlenecks in private practice, and that's the intake process. Uriah, welcome to the podcast. So excited to have you here.
To be here. Yes. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, you too. So let's just kind of dive into it. How you've got like this fun mix of interests, right? You're a therapist, you're a tech nerd, you're a drummer. How did that all come together to create the Productive Therapist and now Simple Intake AI?
Right. You want my backstory, my lore.
Yeah,
yes.
Give us a little. It's so interesting to me.
So yes, the short version is I started a solo practice in 2008 rather, and then I started a group practice in 2015. And then by 2017, I was struggling with burnout, and I was just doing absolutely everything in the business, from cleaning the stains on the carpet to handling all the intake calls to seeing 25 clients myself, and trying to grow this team. And it was exciting and fun, but it was just too much. And so I ended up actually hiring a friend of mine to handle our intake process, and realized fairly quickly that my friends and colleagues had the same need, which was they needed part-time admin support, specifically to handle the intake process. So it kind of just started from there. It sort of started and grew organically, and then it took off, and I've been doing that for 8 years now.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So tell us what all the Productive Therapist does, and then I want to just get right into this amazing thing that you've created and how it's going to help therapists and change their lives.
Yeah.
Because I'm so excited about it.
You know, it's kind of funny. This is a little bit of the backstory too. So back in 2017, I was thinking about starting this thing called Productive Therapist. And for me, it was just going to be a blog, honestly, about the technology and the software that I use to run my practice. It was just going to be a blog. I was like, I just want to share this stuff with my, friends and colleagues. And then my mastermind at the time, I was talking to them and I said, and I also have, assistant, this person that's coming in my office. And I was thinking other people could use his services as well. And my mastermind group said to me, the blog sounds nice, Uriah, but the virtual assistant services, that's the exciting thing.
That's where it's at.
I was like, oh, okay, all right. And then from the beginning, really, that's what it was about. We were being contacted by lots of therapists in private practice, and they were asking about, can you help me handle these incoming emails, these incoming phone calls, these new inquiries that were coming in that they just couldn't get to. So from day one, it was really all about handling the intake process for them and creating a quicker, faster response to clients that were reaching out for help.
That's
so that
amazing.
was absolutely day one.
I could totally see that, because if you guys are listening, at least sign up for Uriah's newsletter, because it's so helpful. I could just see how it evolved, like the blog evolved into this really helpful newsletter, and you're always sharing everybody else's resources, which I love, and so helpful. I look forward to your newsletter every time it comes out. Yeah.
I think you and I have the same DNA in that way. We're just like, let me go find all the cool stuff and then share it.
Exactly.
And I would absolutely do that for free,
Yes.
100%. Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah.
So also from day one, people were asking us if we would live answer their phones. They wanted someone to pick up the phone every time, or as often as possible when someone called their practice. And for a brief period of time, we actually did try to do that, but it was a spectacular failure because we're not a call center. We're not set up for volume.
Oh my gosh.
And it didn't work. So we quickly turned that off. And what we promised, and what we still promise, is a 24-hour response time, but usually it's about 2 to 3 hours. And that is significantly faster than a very busy therapist can do. So that was good. But always this question about live answer. And so I would go on podcasts and write my own blog posts and talk about the highest level of customer service being immediate response, with the understanding that it's also challenging to do and it's costly, right? So, and we can get into sort of the solutions that therapists can consider for that, because my favorite one right now is not the only one, the newest, but that's a problem that we all have, because the truth is, at the heart of it, we want to help people. We just want to help people, and we want to be there when they need us. That's really what it's all about.
I see it every day in the Facebook group, somebody saying, how do I handle all these calls when I'm seeing clients all day? I don't know what to do about it. And then, trying to automate it, trying to hire people and having it farmed offshore, there's
Sure.
all kinds of stuff around that happens. It's really difficult, especially for a solo practitioner maybe that can't hire a full-time
Right.
like admin person. So yeah,
Right.
it's a huge need. So let's talk about just like tips and tricks to people listening, like to help with like the onboarding in general, and then how to manage these phone calls if you're trying to do it all by yourself.
Right.
But then let's get into your amazingly awesome solution that you've come up
Yeah.
with.
Great. So I will share that my favorite thing for the last 10 years or so has been online scheduling tools, right?
Yes.
That seemed to be the easiest, most low cost fix for this. And it's still what I recommend today for like a solo practice owner who's busy and who doesn't have time to respond to the incoming calls. My recommendation is to use something like Schedule Once or Acuity, right? And allow people to contact them and then schedule a consultation call with them during the days and times that they designate for that. And if I was going to go back into private practice right now, let's say just by myself, well, of course I would use AI receptionists, but I would also use online scheduling because I still think it's an amazing tool and it helps people to, complete an action and they feel like they're making some progress towards their goals. So I still think that's a really great idea for people. And they usually cost somewhere between $10 and $20 a month for an online scheduling tool. So that's still a good solution and something
those
that we
are
offer.
HIPAA compliant, Acuity, and what was the other one you said? Are they HIPAA
Acuity and Schedule
Okay.
Once by a
Okay.
company called Once Hub, and they both have HIPAA compliant options. For the longest time, Calendly was not. I'd have to go back and check
yeah.
and see if they changed
Yeah.
something. But lots of people use Calendly, and I would tell them like, "Hey, you should check into that because they don't do a BAA unless they changed it." So I'm gonna go look at that. But
I think you're right. Because I think I looked into it recently because I use Calendly like for my coaching stuff, and
sure,
people ask all the time, what are solutions for this? And that's why I'm glad you're on board with this new thing. But yeah.
so that's a great
So,
solution. And then as far as like immediate or quick response, the other options usually line up with basically one or two categories, which is in-house staff. A full-time virtual assistant overseas, I suppose, could be an option, but then a virtual call center, a virtual receptionist company, right?
Yeah.
Pros and cons of all of those, and we can get into that if you want. But yeah, have you tried any of those things?
I'm thinking back to places I have worked that use like, over the lunch break or whatever, they have a call center. Even dealing recently with my dad's health issues, like just like getting these like just answering, they're basically answering services. They don't
Right.
have like, they don't understand like onboarding and the clinical piece and like who the clinicians are and how to like reroute that stuff. So it's a good, like, at least you've got a live voice that can direct you to things, but it's not a good solution,
Yeah, there's definitely some downsides to it. The advantages are that it's still relatively low cost and
Yeah.
they can actually answer your phone 100% of the time, but it's always a different person and they don't access your EHR, right? So they can only do limited number of things. And so there's some downsides. I will say, and this is not sponsored at all, but our favorite company that does medical receptionist services is called Well Received. And they do quite a good job. And they work with doctors and all kinds of medical and mental health professionals. But when you look at those companies, the cost range, I found one recently that someone was using that was like $1.50 per minute. But the cost usually range from about $2 to $4 per minute.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's, it adds up and that can become a significant cost for sure.
Especially if you have like a huge group practice, lots of calls coming in. Yeah.
Right.
Right. Okay.
So those are things to
interesting.
consider when it comes to that. And then
Yeah.
the other option of, hiring a part-time or a full-time person in your practice, obviously that's not feasible for most solo practices. They're just not going to do it, right?
Yeah.
It's too costly. And then if you're a small, medium, or large group practice, you're likely going to want an intake coordinator, which is really important. But then again, you're probably going to hire them as an employee and pay them benefits and sick time and
like a
PTO.
whole thing.
So yeah, it's a serious investment. And then the downsides of that, I want to say the downsides of humans, but it sounds strange to say it that way, right?
It's
But
true.
a human, let's say practice manager or intake coordinator, let's say they're working 40 hours a week, right?
Yeah.
Business hours. They can only be on one call at a time. And they take lunch breaks. Legally, they have to, right? They go on vacation, they get sick, all those kinds of things. So that's a good solution, but it's expensive and it's still not giving you 100% coverage.
Exactly. Okay. So let's get into what you have created. And I want to geek out a little bit about it too. First tell everybody
Yes.
about it, but then geek out like like the back end a little bit because I think it's super interesting, but also the training and all that can go into it. I would love to
Right.
just talk about all of
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
for sure. For sure. So our solution is called Simple Intake, and it is an AI powered receptionist as well as an AI chatbot that can be put on your website. And the technology, you know this already, but the technology has just grown by leaps and bounds because these sort of voice agents have not been great up
Yeah.
until basically recently. And anybody who's had an experience calling a major hotel or like company I won't name that provides my Wi-Fi, my internet at home, some of them are actually still terrible. Even though the voices sound good, they're not very helpful. It's not a good experience. But I've
Yeah.
been interested in this for some time, and I've been testing them and doing different demos with other companies. I know you do this all the time. And I just started to notice that they've gotten a lot better. The voices, the quality of the voices, the low latency time, which just means like that time between
Like
me saying
the
something
pause. Yeah.
and then them responding, the latency is getting a lot lower. And then the ability to train these agents and give them information and context that makes them actually incredibly useful has just gotten a lot better. So at some point, a number of months ago, it just clicked for me when I realized that a voice AI agent could also book a consultation call on the calendar of a therapist or an intake coordinator. I said, well, that's it. That's
Oh
the
my
solution.
gosh. Oh my
Right?
gosh. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of combining the powers of the online scheduling tools with the immediate response of the AI receptionist. And I'll be honest with you, it's not perfect, but it's never going to be, this is the worst it's going to be. It's only going to
Yes.
get better. Yeah.
It is getting so much better. In fact, a funny story, I was on a customer service call and I thought it was AI. And I said to the guy, I said, "Could you connect me to a real person?" And he's like, "Ma'am, this
Oh
is
my
a real
gosh.
person." I was like, "Oh my God." The whole
That's
time
so
I thought I
funny.
was talking to AI. It was hilarious. But anyway,
That's
so
great.
just to say it is getting better.
Yeah.
So what goes into, for the entrepreneurial people listening, like what goes into creating something like this? I mean, we don't have to get like super detailed, like all your secrets and
Yeah.
all that, but just like the process. I just think it's so interesting. Yeah.
I do too. I also think it's very interesting. And it's been quite fun for me learning how to build these agents and then deploy them. It sounds
Yes.
so fancy. But the first step really is building a knowledge base. So we have to train the agent on the private practice, all the information about who they are, who they serve, what their fees are, what insurances they take or don't take, all the details. So we build a knowledge base, and the first step of that is doing a web crawl. So we are actually able to train, build this knowledge base and train it on every page of the therapist's website. So that's kind of neat, right?
Yeah.
And then just recently, there's a feature that was added where it will automatically retrain on the pages of those websites. So if the therapist goes and changes something on their website, the AI receptionist will already know about what those changes are.
Wow. So it's like, oh, we got a new clinician or the hours changed. It'll just crawl it and
Right.
update itself. Oh my God, that's so cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
And then we also add an FAQ section. A lot of therapists have an FAQ page on their site. So we pull all that information, add that. So it has specific, like basically scripting to answer certain questions. So that's the knowledge base. And that's kind of like the foundational context to give the agent basically all the things that you would need it to know. And we can do that. Like that whole process right there probably takes about 5 minutes,
Wow. That's amazing.
which is pretty wild, right?
That is amazing. Yeah.
Maybe a little bit longer if someone has a lot of pages on their website, or we need to kind of like, or if they have too much information on the website and then we want to give the AI less actually. So that's where we start. And then we build the agent. And the most important part of this is, well, one, connecting it to the knowledge base, and then two, the prompting, right? The prompting is a lot of the secret sauce, if you will.
Yeah.
And I've actually worked hard on this to develop an ideal prompt for most practices, and then we customize it for each specific practice. And it goes through like it gives its operating instructions, like its role, how it should go about doing things, the call flow. We have a section for crisis call handling, and I can talk about that a little bit because obviously important for mental health and behavioral health. And then specific instructions on whether or not to offer a consultation and some other sort of nuanced things on who the agent is and how it should act, specifically with empathy and understanding and a lot of, positive, unconditional positive regard, if you will. So that's the prompt, and that's key.
That's amazing. Yes. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I'll just have to say, Uriah let me test it, which was super cool. Like, I don't remember that when that was. It was maybe like June or July or something. You were like, try to break it. You were
Right,
like, see
right.
if you can break this thing. And I was asking it just the funniest questions. I was just like, well, I don't even need therapy. Why do I need therapy? Just talking to this thing. And it really was hanging with me in
Yeah.
most of the things that I said, and had a good
Yeah.
answer it came back with, and always kind of redirected me the right way, which I just thought
Right.
was very cool. Yeah.
It is. It's impressive. And for people who might be listening to this thinking like, I'm never going to let AI answer my phone or talk to my potential clients because of whatever AI hallucinations or other security or concerns. This is a specific, like narrow use case for this AI tool, right?
Yeah.
So it's not, it doesn't have access, it doesn't have permission to do anything else but follow your
Right.
script, follow the knowledge base. And when you and I both were trying to break it, and some of my other friends were trying to break it, it just kept on applying empathy and then redirecting the caller to book a consultation. So
Yes.
it can't like go search the internet. It can't make up stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In fact,
Yeah.
there's a setting behind the scenes. You'll be interested in this, where you can adjust I think it's called temperature, something,
Oh,
where
yeah.
it basically you can dial up or down the creativity of the AI agent, whether or not it can go off script, right?
Wow.
And we always keep it at 0. So no, we don't want any creativity.
No
We wanna
warmth or
just
creativity at all.
do it by the book. No, there's settings for like the speed of the voice and
Yeah.
the expressiveness and the warmth. So you can dial those things in, but as far as like going off script, no thanks. We don't want to do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that in my Hey Gen avatar builder, where it's like it mimics my voice and a picture of me, and it looks like me talking
Right.
or whatever. It's got
Right.
that too. It's really funny to play with it.
It is.
So like put the creativity way up, and it's like, wow, that looks nothing like. It'll give me like buck teeth. It's just really
Oh
funny.
my gosh.
That is so awesome. Okay, so the clinician meets with you. They give you permission to crawl the website or whatever. I'm assuming there's some sort of consult where they're like, we're this kind of company. Like, these are our values. This is like our brand voice. This is the way we want this thing to answer, like that kind of thing. Can you customize it to that degree? Okay. Wow.
Absolutely, yeah. So we basically build it based on our template and the information that we collect from the therapist. And then I set up a meeting with them and we go over it and kind of fine tune it and tweak it. And then there's a really important part of this is the testing process. So the therapists are often testing it quite a bit before making it live and putting it on their website. And there's a process to do that, just basically calling multiple times to pretend to be a potential client and then testing it, just like you and I did before, and making sure that it's answering correctly, that it's handling the call the way that they want it to. So there's definitely some nuance to that testing process. But once that's basically dialed in, then we can make it live and put that phone number basically on their website where the AI receptionist can answer full time. Yeah.
Wow. And is it a phone number you generate somehow, or like, how does that work? How did they get the phone number?
Yeah, so this is one of the tricky parts is that the AI receptionist does require a dedicated phone number.
Oh,
And
interesting. Okay.
this is really common with marketing. Let's say somebody's running Google Ads and the
Okay.
company helping them with Google Ads will choose a dedicated number so they can track where those folks are coming from.
Sure.
Kind of like that. So the best solution we found for that is to put the simple intake phone number on the website, on the Google business listing, Psychology Today, anywhere where potential clients will be reaching out. And then once someone becomes a client, then they basically get the internal number. So the practice doesn't need to give up their phone number or their phone system at all. We're just kind of like the front end. And then when someone becomes a client, they can get that internal number to contact the therapist or the admin team, et cetera.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like Psychology Today. They like assign you special numbers. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. That's so interesting. Now, how does it schedule? I mean, basically, it's just all automated, I guess. It has access to the schedule, and if they ask for this clinician or that clinician, or maybe because when I tested it, I was basically like, well, I need EMDR and I need this. And it was like, oh, well, this therapist would be perfect fit for what you need right now. I never
Yeah.
went through the scheduling part of it, but
Right.
how does it then go and do that? And it just walks them through it, or does it connect with an
question.
intake coordinator? Yeah.
So we can give it as much context about let's say it's a solo practice about that therapist, or if it's a group practice about all the clinicians. So it can
Okay.
actually answer questions about who on the team works with eating disorders, et cetera, right? I would say it's not ideal for scheduling like first sessions with the therapist because you want to do that through the EHR. So
Yeah,
it's
right.
most ideal for scheduling an initial consultation. Could it be set up to schedule appointments with therapists? It could, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay.
So the way that works is the Simple Intake platform actually has a built-in booking system. It basically replaces Acuity or other tools that you might use for that, so that it's all integrated. So the AI receptionist can just look at the availability of that person and then offer times conversationally, which I still think is pretty amazing. So
that is pretty amazing. Yeah.
yeah, when someone
my
says
gosh.
that they would like to book a consultation call or whatever you want to call that, the AI will say, let me take a look at our availability, and it'll come back really quickly and give you, say, we have Monday at 9 and 11. We also have Wednesday at 9 and 11. What works best for you? And the person just says the day and time, and then the consultation is booked. Google Calendar invite links are sent, reminders are sent, just like those tools work, right? So it all happens, and then the AI receptionist confirms the consultation. They wrap up the call, and it's done. Yeah,
Wow, that's so cool. Oh my gosh.
it is.
And then the clinician would just hop on a consult call and decide if they're appropriate and that sort of thing, and then book
Right.
them that way. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
That's
And if people don't
cool.
want to use the book a call sort of feature, basically what happens is every conversation the AI receptionist has, we can turn on, if people want, we can turn on call recording as well as transcripts so that they can, listen to the call, and just for like quality assurance basically, and also get the transcript. And then that comes to them in an email notification, so then they can follow up as needed from there.
That's awesome. Now, does it
Yeah.
collect? I can't remember if I asked you this before. Does it collect like really specific information, like their insurance and all of that, or is that later when they're in the consult call?
So it definitely can. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We set it up, on the basic level to collect obviously first name, last name, email address, and then update the contact record with that information. But some of the folks I'm working with are wanting it to gather, what insurance provider they have or other kinds of things. And essentially, for the nerds out there, we set up custom fields so that the AI receptionist can say, what insurance provider do you have? And they say, Aetna. And then that information is collected and stored in their contact record. So whoever's responding to them already knows what insurance they have. So it's quite flexible in that way. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, because it's great, yes, to get the consult, but it's also probably great to not get the consult if they're not appropriate and save a lot of time and not have to do these consult calls
Yeah.
and figure it out
Yeah.
15 minutes into your 30-minute consult that you're doing with this person.
The screening ability is very useful. And so that will save time for the therapist or the intake team. Absolutely. Yeah. And then there's other cool things that you can have it do. So you can
tell
have
us.
you can have it transfer the call to another number. And I
Okay.
call that the human handoff. And I almost always build that in. So if people get frustrated with any kind of AI agent, right? And they say, like you mentioned before, I want to talk to a human, right? Well, assuming the person is not a human, the person, quote unquote, I like for the agent to do something, right?
Yeah.
So we can have it just transfer them back to the internal number, leave a message, something like that. Or if somebody wants to
Nice.
be available to pick up the phone, we can have it transferred to them directly.
They
And
actually
then-
do have an intake coordinator. I feel like this could be like a first step, so even the intake coordinator doesn't have to deal with those initial calls, probably. Yeah.
Right. Frontline, and then transfer to the intake coordinator if the practice wants to try to answer those live. Yeah. And then there's other fun things you can do. You can trigger all kinds of workflows, and you can send text messages directly during the call. I don't know. Let's say you want to send them a link to your website, to your cancellation policy or something else. The
Yeah.
AI agent can actually just do that on the call, send them a text message. And then it's also, most people probably won't know what this is, but it also has the ability to connect with MCP servers, right? And do other
Oh.
kinds of things, pull in
Yes.
information, and it's an integration with other tools that's pretty powerful.
Wow. That's it. Do you want to tell everybody what MCP servers are in case they want to?
You can try to explain it. It's complicated.
It's just a way to get more detailed information, I guess, if you
Right.
want to if you want to integrate it. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. I guess
Yeah.
the solution that might be ideal for is if we could connect an MCP server and then pull live availability information for the team, let's say, or for the therapist. That could work, certainly. Yeah. So there's all kinds of creative things you can do, but the very the basic application of the AI receptionist with Simple Intake is powerful in its own right.
So cool. Yeah, I'm just thinking
Yeah.
okay, so if you have an office, you could send a Google map, a link to the directions to get there or something like that to just
Yeah.
make it easy for them to follow through. Or intake
Yeah.
paperwork, I don't know. If somebody doesn't want to do a consult call and they just want to send the intake paperwork, maybe, I don't know.
Definitely.
Maybe
You
there's
can
like
do all those things.
fields. If they say this, this, and this, here goes my brain. You know how my brain works. There's this, this, and this. Let's just go ahead and send them the intake paperwork. They qualify up front.
Yeah.
That's
There's
so
no
cool.
integrations with most EHRs at this
Yeah.
time. So that is not a capability for the most part. Maybe it will be at some point. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, it would be ideal if we could do that safely and securely, right? Connect the AI receptionist to the EHR and then have workflows that automatically send intake paperwork or collect payment information or those kinds of things. That would be amazing. But it's not on deck as of right now.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited for this. So how does you have like a free trial, right? Or you could even go to the website and test it, can't you?
Yeah, if you go to productivetherapist.com, you can listen to some of the demo calls that we've done actually with my practice. And we don't have a free trial, but we will.
Yeah.
You can book a call with us and we'll talk to you about the solution and
Yeah.
all the things that it can do. And I'm happy to, we do demos basically to
I
show
love
people
that.
what
Yeah.
it looks like and how it works and all of that. So yeah, very exciting.
So cool. So just being an AI geek, what are some other things that you're seeing that just private practice people in general can use these days besides using this tool? Is there anything else like you're really like obsessed with right now?
Oh my goodness. Yes. let me choose the thing, right? Sora 2. No, I'm kidding. We can talk
Oh
about
my
that
gosh.
later.
Have you tried it?
No.
I haven't
looks
tried it
amazing.
yet. I just
I
saw
signed
people
up.
talking about it today. Oh, that's
I signed
exciting.
up and I'm hopefully going to get an invite code. But no, the other thing that I'm most excited about and that I've been helping therapists with is using Claude to build their AI advisory team, right? You've heard me talk about this, I think, and we've probably chatted about it, so that they can get some business coaching, get some financial analysis and guidance, get help with HR if they need that, certainly get help with marketing. And Claude is a really powerful tool for that, for building projects. Wink, wink. You can do this in ChatGPT too, but I think Claude's better. Building
I'm a
projects for
ChatGPT
specific-
person.
You are.
Uriah likes Claude.
Yes. I am friends with both.
Yes.
So that's been really powerful. And I've been showing therapists how to do that because the kind of like support and guidance that we can get from these tools, if we customize them and personalize them, is really amazing. And I will say too, just as a caveat, with the AI receptionist, the intention is not to replace the intake coordinator or the therapist doing a consultation. It really isn't. It's just to help people faster and to basically empower what we can do as providers, as practices. And same thing with the AI advisory team. We're not trying to replace necessarily your lawyer or your HR team or your marketing person. We're just trying to give the most benefit to the therapists who want to do amazing things and give them the tools they need to make it happen.
I love it. And don't you have an AI mastermind too that you offer?
I do, yeah. Currently
Tell them
in
about
the
that
second
too.
cohort. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm having so much fun with this, like you are, that I've pulled together 8 people at a time to do a 3-month mastermind where we really get in and learn about how to do these things and then actually build them and implement them. And it's been a ton of fun. And the next one starts in January. So folks, if they get on my list, they'll be notified.
Okay. I love it. Of course, we'll have all that in the show notes. So just to summarize, how do people work with you? How do they test the what's it called? I keep forgetting the name. The smart
Simple intake.
Simple intake. Sorry, simple intake. How do they test it? Where do they go? All that stuff. Just give all the details.
Yes, everything's over at productivetherapist.com. And there's a large green button on that page, multiple, that say listen to the AI. So that'll take you right to the demo calls. And then on that page, if you're curious, you can fill out a form and reach out to us. And that's the simplest way to go about it.
Love it. Thank you. Thanks for coming and sharing. I'm so excited about this. I think it's just going to change the lives of therapists and it'd be a lot more affordable,
Agreed.
from having to like outsource a call center or something like that.
Thanks for being so excited.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. I'm excited about it. Well, thanks a lot. And you guys check out the show notes. You'll be able to get all the links and everything. Thanks, Uriah.